Well, of course, Callum Wilson right now, after rescuing a point for Newcastle, is going to see the light side of that and kind of be glad that it happened. As he said, though, Alan, if it goes against you, it's not quite the same. Let's take a look back at the incident, because it all began after Newcastle were awarded a free kick. First of all, was it a free kick?
I didn't think it was a free kick. Les said to me straight away, he said he's just ran into him, he's passed the ball, and I didn't feel it was a free kick either. But once it is, I mean, what is he meant to do, Eric Dyer? He's actually a foot off the ground in air, in mid-air, there he is, when the ball hits his hand. I mean, I don't know what else he can do, because if his arms aren't slightly up anyway, you run the risk of injury when you come landing down, because if you're not allowed to balance, which is what your arms are there for, then you're going to get injured when you land. It's just ludicrous.
Les, there's nothing else Eric Dyer can do there, is there?
He's jumped up, trying to head the ball. Andy Carroll's got the head in before him. He's behind Andy Carroll, so he doesn't know where the ball's going. The ball could have gone out there. So his hands are just up and it gives you balance when you're landing. Yeah. See his hand. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm frustrated because you know the chances that Tottenham had, but to draw a game off of a penalty decision like that, and people are losing games off decisions like this, it's just, they need to do something about it.
Well, this is the players' view. Let's get the referee's view now. Dermot Gallagher is with us here in the building. Dermot, I know you've watched this several times now. Peter Banks does what he's been instructed to do this season now, and go to the monitor and take another look at it. In doing that, based on the laws of handball that they're instructed to follow, he's awarded the penalty. Did he come to the right decision?
Well, as the law's written, Jules, yes, he has. I can understand the frustration of everybody, because you see Eric Dyer, you know, he's so close. But the law's made up now. If the arm's above the shoulder, irrespective of where it is, it's going to be a penalty if it strikes it. And there's no doubt it strikes it. I think Eric Dyer has become a victim of this rule, and as much as Peter Banks, because Peter Banks is in a no-win position. You know, by law, he has to give this. He might not like it. I mean, I don't particularly like it, I'll tell you that. I don't think a lot of referees like it, but as a referee, you can't pick and choose which laws to apply. You've got to apply them equally.
Dermot, what are the chances of the law or rule, however you want to call it, being changed mid-season? Because at this rate, the Premier League are without doubt are going to lose viewers, because fans, players, managers, coaches, I even believe referees are losing patience with it. So you can imagine how bad it is for fans. What's the chances of the law being changed mid-season? Because if the stakeholders complain enough, will or can the Premier League change it?
Difficult to say, Alan, because, you know, this is a FIFA rule. You know, they've taken control of this. Whether they will say something themselves, whether they will say, you know, the tolerance level can be raised a little, I don't know. At the moment, they've stuck hard and fast to the hand above the shoulder, hand away from the body.
But the Premier League don't have to go along with it, or do they? Can the Premier League change it to suit themselves?
They can't change to suit themselves. They've got to apply the laws as written down by IFAB. And that's the problem, Alan, that once IFAB say, you know, this is handball, you know, the referees are in that position where they've got to apply it. As I say, it's not something I've watched this season over the 3 rounds so far and really enjoyed, because I've seen things that when I played and when I refereed wouldn't have been like that. It's frustrating to watch. But it's equally frustrating for the referees on the pitch, because I'm sure Peter Banks went to that and thought, well, when I started out, that would never be handball, but now I'm directed to give handball, and that's the position they're in.
Dermot, I can understand that being the case if someone's going to have a shot and you put your hand up like that, but his back's turned to it. And I'm just trying to understand that he doesn't even know where the ball is. He doesn't even know if Andy Carroll's going to head the ball. His back's to this. He can't see this. It's not like he's put his hand up to try and prevent the ball going in the way. It's just his momentum that's brought him up like that.
Les, I agree with you 100%, but pre-season, when we looked at the laws and I was asked to do a preview on this, I recalled the incident with Lewis Dunk last season at Leicester, when he had his back to the ball, his arm was out, the ball struck his arm, it stopped it going to Vardy. And I said then, if that happens this season, a penalty would be given. And it has been given, and I think the referees, you know, they've been given very strict instructions on this, and we're now 23, 24 games into the season, and they've stuck rigidly to it. Now, like Alan said, will something give the stakeholders say? I don't know, it's difficult to say, but at the moment, it's not just the players and ourselves being frustrated. The referees are frustrated as well, but they are in a no-win position.
All right, Dermot, thank you so much for a bit of clarity on that. Frustration all round from players, fans, from referees as well, and a very frustrated Jose Mourinho. Let's hear from him managing to contain his emotions after what we know must have been a frustrating end to the match for him. He obviously kept his words back then, knowing full well that if he really said what he wanted to, he would probably be punished.
That's correct. There was a lot of boxes in there as well, and I think I understood what he was talking, and I think it alluded to it there, where Lascelles had the same kind of like situation where it hit his hand in the opposition's box, and that wasn't given because it was deemed to be down by his side. So you can tell his frustration, and rightly so. And his frustrations will probably be more that with the chances that they had in the first half, they should have scored more than one goal.
We saw at the full-time whistle as well. Nuno Santos, part of the Tottenham coaching staff, was speaking to the referee, Peter Banks, on the pitch. We believe he was sent off. We saw a red card shown. It just encapsulates the frustration from everyone involved, really.
Yeah, I mean, I get that the frustration Jose's got, and his assistant has unfortunately got a red card. I understand the anger and everything else that goes with it, because no one's happy with it. If you listen to every single person before, during and after the game, whether it's coaches, players, managers, whoever it may be, referees, they're not happy with the law. Hence, it has to change.
Do you think that more players, more ex-players like yourselves, should be involved in how the laws of the game are governed?
Yeah, we've been speaking about it for a long time. A load of ex-players that, finished their careers and would like to get involved in just trying to help that situation. I think there's so many good people out there that you can get involved in this to just say, well, look, this ain't quite right, that ain't quite right, this is you got to look for this, you got to look for that. And I think it would help the game, but it's up to the people out there to go and get these players and get them back in doing something for football. The
one thing I would say is that it's all going to be highlighted because of that decision, Newcastle getting the point. But I did say at half-time, the one positive from a Newcastle United point of view was it was only 1-0. It should have been Tottenham only have themselves to blame for not leading that game 4-5-0 with the chances that they had. And that's where the game was lost for 2 points for Tottenham. I know it's a stupid decision, and I don't agree with it, even though Newcastle have got a point. But Tottenham can only blame themselves for what happened in the first half, for not hitting the back of the net 4 or 5 times, which they should have.
Jose Mourinho was asked again about the penalty incident and refused to comment on it. I know that we could speak for hours more about this new handball law, but we've got to leave it there. Alan, Les, thank you so much for your company watching the first 2 games on this Premier League Sunday. But